We'll do it live.
Hello and welcome to Under the Sticks, brought to you by Big Red Cloud. Go to www.bigredcloud.com for all your online accounting needs. We are here for the live Super Rugby Aotearoa watch along of Hurricanes and Blues, and I am joined by Mr. Paul Williams. How are you?
Good morning. Very well, Andy. Good to see you back, man. How are you, dude?
I'm refreshed after a nice little break. Yeah, it's been great.
A week on the codeine.
Oh my God, we'll get to that. Yeah. Sean, how are you?
I'm a bit tired this morning, and if I'm honest, didn't sleep very well last night, so I apologise to our listeners. I could be a bit tetchy this morning, but it could make for some real good feisty Paul Williams, Sean Holley banter.
Paul, you might have a chance with the Sean Holley fact check this week.
You know, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
I could get up to like 16-4, 16-5.
No, I'll be on the button and I'll be argumentative this morning. And incidentally, off the back of my Rugby World article on the number of penalties at the breakdown, straight away, first intervention, Lamape, penalty to the Blues. Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah. Nice carry from Lamape, though. First up, straight up.
We're going to be joined by Adam Redmond shortly, as is the case when we're all at home, working from home, watching rugby from home. Things have happened, so he's dealing with those things.
It's a little bit like when you're teaching and there's an inspection and the headmaster comes round into the class when because he doesn't really trust you. He wants to have the morning off, but he's going to pop in and say hello.
Yeah. He doesn't trust us at all.
And you know what? He's right.
He is right.
Absolutely right.
It could be carnage, just the three of us, couldn't it?
I know.
Could be, yeah.
We'll be doing ads for Beamish now within half an hour.
we got a couple of regulars in already. James Reed shows the match. Only joking. Morning, lads. Hi, James. He's with us weekly. Mark Townsend, Matt Flannery. We've got Chiefs Girl back with us. She says, nice take by Geordie. Chiefs Girl was very vocal last week on the pod. So join in, guys. Tweet, Facebook, get other people listening, and we'll join in during the game. Should be a good one, this one.
Yeah, it's good. We'll have to have a chat about the New Zealand's plans to, say happy 25th birthday Super Rugby. Goodbye, Super Rugby. We'll get to that later on. But it's been good. Had a nice little bit of time off, and then I had a bit of unscripted time off. The back decided to give up. But you know what? It was great getting back into a real live physio because they were shut down too, and they've only just come back over here, which is great.
Yeah, I don't think they're back here. I don't think massage, physio. I'm not sure about chiropractors because my mate's a chiropractor and he's open, but we're still a little bit behind everybody else here in Wales.
Here we go.
Lamape. He's just skinned Barrett.
What a try!
Barrett!
Try. Oh my God!
Boom!
What are we saying about Beauden Barrett at 15?
Oh,
tell you what, he's one of my favourite players, Ngani Lamape, and I know we're only just in, but I do speak to him a little bit via DM on Twitter. And I had a chat that he played really well last week, and that's why I think he should be in the All Blacks. Everyone thinks he's a crash ball player.
Well,
look what he does to Barrett. Whoa!
Look at the gas, though. Barrett doesn't make on him, look.
No, doesn't even come back. Bam!
That reminds me of an NFL running back seeing the outside clear and just going. He's such a powerful runner as well.
Look at that. Oh, terrible.
That as well.
And do you know what? I tell you something that everyone thinks of Lamape being this massive, massive guy, and he is wide, but he's really short.
Yeah,
He's like 5. He doesn't look much more than 5'10" to me.
He's almost as wide as he's tall, isn't he?
Yeah,
I'll have you.
Wide.
Sorry, Paul. I'll have you know that 5'10" is an absolutely massive height.
No, but people think he's like 6'2" and 17 stone. He's not.
Yeah.
I was in the Hilton Hotel in Cardiff queuing for a coffee when they were about to go training, and he wanted a coffee before, and he came and said, "Oh, do you mind if I go before you?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, mate. Don't worry."
I put my house on him kicking this. Right. There you go.
Oh, look at that!
Beautiful strike.
I'm not losing a point for that because I didn't say anything.
It's just the Chiefs girl is ahead of us, and she said, "Nice conversion, Geordie." So Tom Johnson, hi guys, first time watching with live streaming. Great try, was a great try, and to beat Barrett. We've talked a lot on this pod about Barrett playing 15, and it's interesting that Justin Marshall and co are talking about it as well. That for me is just another reason why he shouldn't be playing 15. There goes Lamape again.
He's having a good, and he was awesome last weekend, Lamape. The whole Hurricane squad were really good last week. Lamape in particular.
Well, they have to win. I was listening to Justin Marshall for the game, and he suggested the Hurricanes have to win this one because they lose this one. It's a home game. They've lost 2 already, I think, 1-2. But they are on the rise. The bookies give the Blues a 2-point start today, and I was surprised because I thought for an hour they really pushed the Crusaders last week, but we sort of always knew the Crusaders were coming back. But I spoke to Philo Tiatia this week, who's out there in Auckland working with Auckland, and he said that they didn't scrub up too well after the game. They were battered after the Crusaders game. Yeah. So this week it might have been a little bit tough. A couple of changes, but they might be jaded. But as the game goes on, you never know. They battle hardened. Here we go.
James Reed, you're asking for a time check. That is a good one. We have to do the same thing. So I'll give you 6:35, 6:36, 6:37, 6:38. That's what I'm seeing right now on my screen.
Yeah, Chiefs girl's ahead of us. Don't give us too many clues, Chiefs girl.
Yeah, we're a good 10 or 15 seconds behind.
We've got a few Hurricanes fans. Matt Flannery's on about go Hurricanes. Chiefs girl, obviously Tom Johnson. So there's a lot of. They are the sort of team everybody quite fancies out there, aren't they?
Yeah, they're my adopted team. I love watching them. I wrote a piece this week for the Pro 14 about. I called it like Hurricanes in power offloading because they offload more. I think they handled the ball per attack 10 times last weekend, where the Highlanders were only 3, which is quite a lot. And I was just saying the difference because the Scarlets offload a lot and Toulouse offload quite a lot as well. But the difference with this current Hurricane squad is that who they're offloading to, because it's like Lamape and Jordie Barrett and Ardie Sevilla. So they've got these offloading players who are also beasts. Yeah. So do you know what I mean? So they're offloading it straight to another lunatic, and it means they're always going forward.
I think Sarvey is going to be the one for the Hurricanes for me, as the sort of temperature gauge, because he's been brilliant as a second fiddle, alongside a Kieran Reid, Richie McCaw, Sam Cane, this, that, and the other. It seems to me that he needs to stand up and become a senior player in the Hurricanes, and sometimes that doesn't fit certain characters. So he's gone off the ball a little bit. He's had an injury, but he seems to be the type of guy that needs to step up and a bit like Tupalutu and our friend Hoskins Tutu has been doing for the Blues,
Yeah. He had a really good game last week, Ardie Sevilla. I can't remember his carry numbers, but they were massive. And, it's like he's got electricity going through him, that boy. He never accepts a tackle. Like Liam Williams. Yeah. When they're hit, they're just like... But he's about 2 stone heavier.
Oh, no. It just strengthens my argument again. It strengthens my argument. Guess where he is? In the 10 position.
Yeah.
One
dummy and through.
But he's moving. It's what we call in motion. It's flow. So he's taking the ball, moving. He's got an option inside. So he's not just static showing the ball. He's moving, and it's very difficult. So he's quite static there at 10. Here he comes. Look at him calling. He's moving. He's in motion. See, it was in motion.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah. That was TJ Perenara who came out then, I think.
I want to see the TJ hit on Black again. Black went down hard and stayed down, and there was another angle they just showed us, and I don't know.
Well, a bit high.
It was a big arm. It was a big arm, no wrap.
Oh, right.
Look.
Do you know? I was just thinking.
God, look how weird that is. But Bowden Barrett isn't even on that top 5 top scorer.
Well, that's why he's playing 15, isn't it? They need a kicker. This guy's in. I wonder, has he set upon himself to say, do you know what? I'm going to step up a 10 a little bit more on George guy. Or have they said, Bodie, have they made a plan? It'd be interesting. Because that is Bodie Barrett at his best at 10, isn't it?
Yeah, just going for it. Doing things that other 10s cannot do.
I like to think he's just said, do you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm just coming up.
Yeah. Next, it's going to be, instead of a hurricane flooring Black, Barrett's just come up in play and take him out.
What a great start, though. 10 minutes, 17 points.
Yeah, I'm up for this. This is good.
Another case for the rise of the red-headed player there. There's a lot.
It is amazing how few redhead players there are in elite rugby. You'd wonder, is it the same as the population or not?
I don't know. There's quite a few in South African rugby coming through.
Yeah, there are, yeah.
I'd suggest that it's a little bit of an imbalance with the population.
As my friend... Lamarpe again! Go on, straight over the top.
Oh, no.
Yes!
That's poor from Barrett.
Bodie, come on. You can't do that twice, can you?
It's interesting that we don't get this because we got our volumes down. But Cool Coyote says that they were booing Barrett after he scored.
Oh, really?
At the tin, his former home.
Oh, horrible.
Well, was that? There's a difference between there's booing and there's kind of, good-natured
like
booing, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't pick that up.
I can't believe that Bodie Barrett. I mean, he did have a crack at it, but you've got to do better than that.
Did he have a crack at it? Or was it like
I'm being generous there.
I think you are, mate.
What I love, though, is Lamarpe didn't even bother trying to go around him.
No. Straight through.
It didn't even, not even a feint, not even a head feint, nothing.
That was always like, when I was playing at a not good level, I was not a big tackler, not a big tackling unit. And the one thing I did not want to do is see the guy put his shoulder down and go straight for me. I said, if you want to go around me, I will grab you around the ankles. That is grand. Yeah. But otherwise, I was like, no, this isn't good. This is not going to end well.
So we got blues with a yellow.
Yeah, they got to go for this, haven't they? James Reed asks, is this a weakened blue side or fairly standard squad rotation? Like I said, man, I spoke to Philo Tia. That was well read by Donahue, I think, there. I spoke to Philo Tia, and they were pretty battered after the Crusaders game, so they think they've had to make changes, maybe injuries or just fatigue. Interesting to see what comes off the bench. There's now a back peel, Paul, right?
Yeah.
So there's a set play, and this is always the danger of a 5-meter line out. It's a set play. It's nicely run. Perinara's got an option on the outside, on the inside, and then you've done your homework as a defender. Donahue, I think it is, a 5 for the Blues. He reads the inside ball and intercepts it. Brilliant. I love players who do their homework like that. It's brilliant.
Yeah, clever.
They played, didn't they? The Canes.
Look at that. See, in this, look at that now. And that's the difference to me, because they're all offloading. They're all good carriers.
There's an answer for you from the Chiefs girl. She's well informed, Chiefs girl, and on the east coast of New Zealand. Oh, that's forward.
Yeah,
that has to be forward. That's a VAR.
He knows he's coming back.
Yeah, on the east coast of New Zealand, there are quite a few red-headed Maoris.
Oh, wow.
McGeady seems stunned by that one.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
I'm trying to process this because I'm actually there's times where comments come in, and if I was making the comment, I would be ripe for a wind up, right? So I just don't know. That looks well forward, but the angle,
forward.
Yeah.
if you get another angle,
there you go. Oh,
yeah,
that's NFL.
It is.
Yeah,
It's shoveled. It's shoveled a yard and a half forward.
Yeah.
And then shoveled is the great word there.
Do you know what I think? What happened as he was passing, his arm was dragged and it rotated him.
He's a great player to have in your squad, isn't he? Even at the All Blacks, you're thinking this kid can play anywhere. He's big. He can kick it a mile.
6'5", that boy is.
Yeah, crazy tall, and he's filled out as well.
I don't think there's ever been a bigger fullback at Test.
Roger Gould.
How tall was he?
Insanely wallaby big. Roger Gould. Look him up. 80s fullback. Big lump, nasty. Yeah. Who else? Big fullbacks. It's a good point, actually.
Phil Steele was reasonably tall for a fullback. He's 6'4". Oh, yeah. Roger Gould 6'5". 6'4". 6'4". Sorry.
Big man, Roger Gould.
Yeah. Oh, Bodie. You're right. You know, he did. I don't think he went for that. Then he sort of rolled away before he'd even made contact. Then Bodie Barrett. Anyway, I do exactly the same, if not worse. I'd have gone down before contact.
So 10-7, good start. You mentioned the Blues side. I mean, that's the one thing I was looking at during the week was who would be playing, because Hoskins Sotutu they were talking about him possibly having a scan after that last game. I don't know if he had it or not, but certainly it's not surprising that he's not playing today. But it also makes me very sad that he's not playing today, because man, he's been so good to watch.
Well, and the other guy, Paul's new man crush isn't playing either, is he?
Yeah, Caleb.
Oh, Caleb, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of extra room on the pitch today because his ties aren't there.
No. Do you know what? There's a very, very outside chance I might be able to get. Oh, look at the Canes. They're balling today, aren't they?
I was about to say the same. They are up for this today.
Yeah. Do you know what? They were like this last week. They've gone full Canes. Look at Dane Cole. Look at Dane Cole's just waiting. He wants a cross kick, Cole.
Oh, you never like that floated ball in the air when you're out there wide.
End on end.
They're hanging in there.
Yeah. Oh, man. This is brilliant to watch from the Hurricanes.
When they're playing well, I think they're the best. The prettiest isn't a very good rugby word, but they're the prettiest rugby team in the world.
I don't know. Listen, hold on. When they're playing well, now this is a good one. Let's hold on to this. When they're playing well, playing pretty rugby, Toulouse are right up there.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, they are. And the Scarlets, the Scarlets, when they are playing well, play very pretty rugby too.
When they go full Scarlets.
Yes, when they're at 100%.
And Glasgow, when they full Glasgow.
And Glasgow,
Toulouse, turn it on.
Toulouse are like the Rolls Royce of European rugby, and when they're polished,
smooth.
When they decide to go for a little run, they are.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's when you said pretty. That's the first team that came to mind, because it's a different level that few teams can reach. It's just extraordinary.
I put it in my column this week, and I agonized over using the word pretty because I thought a load of people were like, "Pretty? What are you talking about?" But it's the only way that really sums up the way it is. It's pretty.
It's quite frenetic, though. It's frenetic stuff. So, like, they've had 2 chances now. They haven't put away. So, build their play good, cutting edge, yes. Composure, experience, question mark, Go back to Toulouse. First ever Heineken Cup away match for the Ospreys, the East Swansea Ospreys, was Toulouse away.
Oh, really?
And
nice easy one.
Talk about
Toulouse away.
Listen to this now. Elisald, Josion, Vincent Clerc, Emile Tamac, Christian Labitte, Fabian Pelou.
It's royalty, isn't it? You're playing against royalty.
It's you might as well have Marie Antoinette, Napoleon,
Yeah.
you know,
Favorite
all
of Louis.
but fantastic. But there was a well-oiled attack of silkiness about Josion and Elisald and people like that, Michalak, Vincent Clerc. Oh, it's just unbelievable. And afterwards, you go after the game, they're sponsored by Peugeot, so there's a huge air hanger with all these individual sponsors, and they put a player on and lovely suit, and he looks amazing, looks straight out of a men's aftershave advert. And you're walking around there in your Swansea Ospreys tracksuit and your trainers, and you're thinking,
different world.
We're not there yet.
Well, there's a question there from Chiefs Girl. Are there any dates when the North will be starting their competitions? Which there are.
Yes, we have.
So the Pro 14 is August the 21st at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, 22nd, is it?
21st, 22nd.
Yeah, 22nd, I think.
And I think the English Premiership is August the 12th, isn't it?
It's the week before. Yeah.
Yeah, there we are.
So we've got behind closed doors stuff. Yeah, we can't have people in the stadia, we don't think yet. But we're going to kick off with some behind closed doors stuff. A couple of Welsh derbies, Irish derbies, Scottish derbies, obviously for logistics and safety.
And that's it. That's about we're all the teams are training, getting tested all the time. They're releasing the numbers of both players and staff who are testing positive. Thank God the numbers remain very, very low.
Yeah.
But this is all about, again, buying time. But in Ireland anyway, I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen, we've had to step back some of our reopening. We'd accelerated it hugely. We had a 5-phase plan. We'd basically squashed together the last couple of phases. We've had to unsquash a bit because numbers have been rising. So this is going to hit us again across. I mean, if you think about the Pro 14, we're across 5 different countries. There's a lot going on.
We've been reasonably sensible in Wales. In my opinion, we've been a little bit behind, waiting to see what England do and then sort of reacting to that, And there's been criticism.
Do the opposite.
There's been criticism in Wales, but I got to be honest, it seems to be working. However, I did drive home from golf yesterday, passed a few pubs with beer gardens, and they were rammed with people Friday afternoon.
Yeah, they were filled with gardens as well. Yeah. See how we get on.
So this is still going now. Chiefs Girl, I did look that up. So yes, I am just going back here. Hold on. Wow, we got a lot of comments today. This is great. So Declan O'Donnell used to play for the Chiefs, and he was a redheaded Maori from Thames Valley. Yes, Declan, he's playing for Old Glory, I think, in the States now, whenever they go back up. But yes, that is technically correct.
I've got one of my friends in work who's a redhead. He calls gingerism the acceptable face of discrimination. It's such a great way of terming it.
We've got even better research here. So James Reid, the figure I found is 1% of the world's population is ginger. So out of the 5 squads in Super Rugby Aotearoa, it would be unusual to find more than 2 gingers. Just thought you'd like to know.
That's rugby analysis on a different level.
That's it. That's Holley level. That is. That's brilliant. Well done, James Reid. Oh, here we go. Corey Jane having a little chat.
He's had some hairstyles, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's put on a bit of timber too since he's been finished playing. Look.
Okay, Lucas, where Papa wants us to say hi. I hope we've said that right, Lucas. Where Papa?
Hello, Michael Jenkins from
Mike's in
Pembrokeshire.
So, thanks for joining us, Tristan Dawson. Howdy, gents. Appreciate y'all's informed gum flapping about pubs and tough footy. Bless. Well, whatever that means. Yeah. Good morning.
This is our sweet spot. It's talking about things that are not rugby while watching rugby. This is why we are here, and hopefully, You're here for the same thing because it's going to keep happening.
We will get
there's
one from Michael Jenkins. I read that Adam Jones may come back to coach at the Ospreys. Thought I'm not sure about that, but there is a chance he may be coming on this pod.
That is true.
So
that's a bigger deal.
Much
bigger deal. So Adam Jones is a massive fan of Super Rugby. Speak to him quite a lot about it. So whenever I'm up early watching, he normally is as well. So we're going to try and get him on.
I think Bomber signed a new contract with Harlequins, and they've got Paul James as the Ospreys scrum coach. So I can't see that, Mike.
Right. This is the challenge for the rest of this show.
Are we gonna get in trouble for this? I'm not party to this.
No.
I got a lot of friends who are red-headed, and they're all lovely people.
And me.
My best friend is red hair. He was called Rooster in school. I'm on board because we talk about this all the time. I'm on board.
Well, Neil Jenkins is straight in and outside half for me.
He's in. What was the name of that Kiwi fullback? Gallagher.
Gallagher, yeah, Gallagher.
He had red hair.
Would you call Damien McKenzie redhead?
No.
Bit of strawberry blonde in there.
We'll have to do a separate strawberry blonde 15. This is getting so niche.
It will.
Back to the game. The Blues have got a bit of an edge about them. And all I said about battle hardened.
Yeah.
Forget the changes and how well the Hurricanes are playing. They're hanging in here. They've got a bit of resolve. Something about them. I quite like the Blues this year.
Yeah, you're right, because they've been pretty much camped in their own half, haven't they?
Yeah, for a long time now.
This whole half, really.
Chiefs girl, you pronounce wa like fa in New Zealand. Okay, so it's Lucas Farepapa. Is that right?
Okay.
Learning all sorts. Also learning that.
Like if you're a bit wary about doing the Ginger 15, getting pronunciations wrong live, that's going to be good.
You know what? I wonder if it's Farapape, because that's they pronounced.
Farapape. Yeah.
Farapape. I think it's it.
Well, we got Nicholas Ozans, who's French, living in Australia.
Blimey.
Not a bad place to be during what we're all going through.
Well, yeah, the Hurricanes have probably, I don't know what the stats are, Paul. It's got to be something like 70% territory. Has to be 70% territory and possession. Must be close to that.
Let's have a quick look at the stats. Yeah, you're right. It's 68% territory, 56% ball.
So it's 10-7 to the Blues at the 10.
Yeah. So look at the tackle numbers.
It could be a day. Yeah. It could be a day where it suits the Blues not to have the ball. They just need to muscle up, dig in, and defend because we're too knackered and battered to do anything in attack.
Yeah,
it's funny.
And the other thing we need to remember, which you can't see obviously from the picture, is when they were doing some close-ups earlier, it was raining quite heavily, wasn't it?
Yeah. At the start of the game, that was really clear.
Yeah, so it's you've got to take that into account.
Pretty relentless stuff, man.
I always find that weird that as good as HD is, you still can't see rain. Oh. Do you know with rugby and sports that rely on weather, they should have a little icon on the TV. See next to where the score is now, it should say rain and wind is this, because you could turn this game on and think it's perfectly dry.
There's lots of things like that. I think as well a symbol should come up when the referee's playing advantage.
Yeah,
actually, I'd love that. That'd be great.
I think there's a lot of
a ticking clock, so a big A card, and then a clock. How long he's played advantage for, or how many phases.
Do you know, and that would not be difficult to do. That is, Sean. Well, that is one of your better ideas. I like that. TV people make that happen, and if it's penalty advantage or scrum advantage, tell us that as well. It would be great for the viewer.
I've had my thinking cap on because I've been doing a bit of analysis for Pro 14, and I've had a bit of time to think.
Nice. The Sean, if you can get my contact area app idea away, that would be good as well. So second screen, just focused on the breakdown. So you can watch the big game there, and then on your app, it's purely always on the breakdown.
Yeah, that's something.
Get that away from me. Are you gonna? I'll go 50-50 on that with you if you can get that away.
Well, the pros would do it anyway, mate. I'd have a breakdown cam and a player cam. So I'd have 4 screens on my laptop.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, it's not a new idea, but it would be for the public and for TV.
But you know where I think it would be amazing is in stadiums. So when you go in, you just rent a tablet for the game, 15 quid, and then you can, because when you're in the stadium, you can't see anything anymore.
No,
because it's not a game you can watch from afar anymore. Rugby.
I think it's coming. It's coming that there's an app where you interact. We all multitask, and I've got stats and stuff here now, and we're texting each other. We're looking at the live comments. We're watching the game, and this. We can multitask with these things now, and it's inevitable that it's because you can't show some things in big stadia. One, it's contentious. Sometimes it's health and safety. The footage they can't put out there. So it's coming, isn't it? That you can have added value on your phone, and you pay for it with that subscription.
All they're going to do is
ironic.
Sorry,
I was just going to say, wouldn't it be ironic if the Blues go up here for the first time in 20 minutes? And
I think they go into, look at that. They're over. It's a try.
Go. Yeah, but we'll check out what Dane Coles does.
What, behind the ball?
Hell?
It's a judo throw.
What the hell has he just done?
He could be in trouble,
He has to get carded for that.
Meanwhile, our viewers
it's a great drive.
Our viewers are still discussing gingers.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. There'll be a time where we need ginger talk, right? But what has he done?
Yeah, he's judoed him to the floor.
He really
has. Off the ball. He might get a card for that, because that's miles away from the ball.
If I'm refereeing, that is an immediate yellow card for it's mainly for stupidity.
At the very least, it's a penalty on the halfway line.
It should be.
At the very least.
Yeah, there's no need for that. Oh, look at that. Pape Lee, second for tries, look, a blind side. Well, I think he's playing open side today.
He's a big boy for playing open side, isn't he?
He is a big open side, isn't he?
Sidetrack from Chiefs Girl. Did you guys watch the Oz game last night? I thought the Force were pretty competitive, but unfortunately the umpire was pretty crap.
I did. It was a hell of a good game. James O'Connor played well.
Now, it's I think she's got this wrong here. It's not the Force, is it? It was the Rebels. No,
it was Force. What did I watch yesterday? The Force Reds yesterday.
Oh, 31-24. Yeah, it's a big one today. Waratahs, Brumbies.
Yeah, it's on after this.
I'm actually stunned that they haven't gone back to watch that.
Me too.
Penalty at halfway, at least for me.
Yeah.
Like you can't, if you're a referee and you let that go, that tells the players something about what the kind of control you have in this game.
That's in NFL. That's a flag on the play, unnecessary roughage.
Yes. Yeah, unnecessary. Yeah. Well, you're right again, Holley, about this. Canes had all the ball, all the passing, all the line breaks. And they're 15-7 down.
Mate, you can be the smoothest guy in the school, do all the chatting up lines, but can you clinch the deal?
Yeah, that's right.
It is amazing. We've just come from talking about, the Blues being camped in their own half, and here they are, 8 back. When you're looking at all that possession, we've had so many drop goals and drop goal attempts in this tournament so far. When you have that much possession, I know the Hurricanes won the ball today. It's very clear. Sometimes you just need to put 3 on the board.
Yeah.
And Jordie Barrett missed 3. We missed that. There was definitely a penalty there against Jordie Barrett. He double moved as he hit the floor. But there's more line speed coming from the Blues defense. And again, talking to Philo Tiatia this week, who works for the Auckland Mike the 10 team, his best mate is Tan Rumanga, who's T, as we know
T,
him
is
as.
that what he called him? T.
T has been doing the D at the Blues, and the D and the T is going well, apparently.
Right. So, you know, if you're coaching here, Sean, now, and you've realised that if you're the Canes coaching staff, do you now go to a little bit more structure and just think, right, start carrying off 12 a bit more?
Mate,
or,
you can't be half pregnant, mate.
Right, yeah.
You know, you set your stall out. There's only 32 minutes in.
Keep going.
Well, if that's their philosophy, isn't it? Are you true
Yeah.
to what you believe? Are you true to what you've talked about and what you practice? There's plenty of time left, you know, it's 55 minutes. So you've got to keep going. And then half time, we'll have a chat. You know, is it working? What's not working? Are we knocking the door? If we keep knocking the door the way we're going, is it going to open?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they'll probably say is yes. And here we go now.
So that was a bit simpler, wasn't it? Middle ball, maul.
He's over. There you go. So there's your answer.
Right. And they're back in the game. Still
think there was a penalty against Geordie Barrett way back before the last penalty that they kicked a touch. But there we are. That's something that they got to put up with.
Did you see? Oh, go on. Sorry. Did you see? I was just going to say. Did you see TJ Paranara's dummy last week on Aaron Smith when he went straight through for the? Have a look that up later on. It'll be on YouTube somewhere. It's amazing.
They're going for some sort of holding in there. They're complaining there. He's ahead.
Yeah, he's holding
they've got a point, actually. They've got a point.
Yeah.
He's not part of them all, that guy.
Yeah.
Check out how far he's going out for this conversion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have never seen in my life seen someone come out this far for a conversion.
Do you know what that tells you?
How big his boot is.
He knows that isn't far for him, and he's giving him. Look how open that angle is now.
That is extraordinary. He's another full 10 yards out.
At least
that is unbelievable, mate.
At least
that's now turned into a massive kick.
Yeah.
What is it about Barrett? I mean, come on.
No. Do you know? I was trying to explain
their goal kicking in the farm today. Jesus.
Do you know the other thing though? I was trying to explain to some of my friends who aren't into rugby that much. The Barrett family, just to get 3 All Blacks from one current household. I was trying to explain to them how difficult that is. It would have been like having 3 brothers in like the Brazilian football team at the same time. And I couldn't convey to them how difficult it was, like to have 3 Socrates. Ardy's off.
The trademark pick up the middle.
Bang.
What's disappointing for the Blues is, we spoke for about 30 minutes. They defended so well, held out, got the try up the other end, and then conceded straight away.
Big psychological blow, isn't it, that?
If they just get the half time there,
Yeah.
Let's just watch the Canes ball carriers, boys. Right, I reckon they're doing second movements, and that's one of the stipulations that you can't do. Let's watch Surveyor now, and he gets. Well, he doesn't even get tackled. It's a speed bump, I think.
Yeah, he goes low.
There's a speed bump. Yeah.
No, in fairness, he doesn't do it that time.
Look at that. That's a penalty now. In what they're saying.
You think so?
In what they're saying.
Hit the ground.
I wouldn't have said that one
because he wasn't tackled.
Yeah, exactly.
He may have done it quickly enough, but
but I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's great watching.
There we are. Like Sky Sports have got a second screen experience there.
Just to watch your own player. Do you remember when they did that in football years ago? And everyone discovered that if you just watch one player all the time, that's not actually great. Unless you're watching. I think they made that film of Zidane. Oh, TJ's off.
Oh, he's class, isn't he?
Oh, he's a super player.
I'd mentioned another little thing in my article this week about. Do you remember when New Zealand had Nick Evans and Dan Carter, and Nick Evans was the second best second row outside half in the world, and in New Zealand. And I was saying that TJ Perenara is similar in that regard. Aaron Smith's number 1, and he might be the second best in the world.
Well, I remember we had Marty Holler at the Ospreys.
There's another one.
Marty Holler had 40 All Blacks caps, right?
I know.
Behind Josh Cromfeld and Richie McCaw.
It's awful, isn't it?
You know,
He'd have had
Maori
100
against the Lions. Yeah, he's just phenomenal depth.
How did he compare to, say, like Tipperick?
Different players, mate, but
Really?
yeah, Holler was a combative, you know.
Yeah. On the ground.
Yes, surreptitious, sort of lovely player, strong guy, no neck, just straight down from his chin to his shoulders. Boom. Developed himself that area because he was always putting his head in places that he shouldn't.
Strengthening neck, yeah. Like Warburton, there's a neck on that boy.
Yeah, same sort of thing. Hello. Oh, he picked that up.
What kind of when you have a back row, Sean? What kind of sevens did you typically like in your team? Like, were you a person who wanted a guy to be a link player? Were you a guy who wanted to be a disrupt the opposition player? I know ideally it's the same player doing all of those, but what did your gut go for when shaping a team?
I personally like a fast link sort of nuisance all action 7. The guy who arrives and plays scrum half, you know. He arrives and picks the ball, and he steals the ball, and off it goes. He's in the back line linking to the pass. He's a nuisance value around, so if you think of the 7s that I would have worked with, like Tipperick, Steve Tandy.
Yeah, cool.
There's another one. Holler was a bit more industrious and got me thinking about the nuances of Jackal play at the time, along with Sam Warburton and that. Martin Williams, another one.
Yeah.
You see Martin as that sort of nuisance link, real engine, quality, skillful type player.
And they are different. When you're talking about the guy like a
Shane
Warburton
Jennings,
is a very different kind.
Yeah, I think Shane Jennings, David Wallace, as opposed to other 7s.
Oh, Jennings was a super player.
Yeah, he could play, wasn't he?
Just really good at making life very, very annoying for opposition, and that's a great thing to have in a back row. David Wallace, now there was an athlete. As a pure athlete, you'd be challenged to find an equivalent in.
We talk about Barrett. There's three Lions. I'm right in it, in the Wallace family.
Yeah.
He's still in good nick, isn't he, Wallace? I saw him the other day on TV.
Yeah, he was that was a horrible injury that basically finished his time off. But I mean, he would have been, if I remember rightly, he was the fastest player in the Munster squad the time he was there.
Really?
And he's as a back row forward, phenomenal athlete.
Just going through some of the
I just want to put this right up, right? I make no claim to back up the validity of this. Marty Holler built my house.
Right,
but that
I want proof of this.
Definitely happened, right? Because Dime Till Death will back me up here. When Marty came over here to play, he and I think his brother have a company called Holler Homes, and he will have upskilled himself here in Wales with plumbing courses, other sort of building-related qualifications, whilst training and playing, being here. That's what the Kiwis do. They're really good at.
Hold on, he's qualifying at least some of it. Right, hold on, you're backing off this Dime Till Death.
No, hang on. This would be he put in the toilet now in 2 minutes.
Okay, so we're half time.
Tell you what, that's an important pen for the Canes.
That's a funny half, isn't it? I mean, we're 15-0, but the Blues had got themselves so far ahead. The Hurricanes really came to play, and we're putting extraordinary pressure on them, and they're going in at halftime actually happy to be tied up. Strange.
Yeah. I'd say, well, definitely the Blues are the happier, aren't they? But they probably would have taken that, looking at the stats. It was heavily Canes, missed penalty, Geordie Barrett. The one chance the Blues had in territory, they took. And Barrett, bit of magic. So it's all teed up nicely for the second half because the Canes would be a little bit squeaky now, I would have thought. They've had all that territory in possession. They'd be like, well, we should really be ahead and talking a different team talk at halftime, but they've got to be wary of the Blues.
Yeah.
So now that we're going to take a little break from the live game. So this was big coming out the last couple of days, where New Zealand Rugby have decided to, it seems, take Super Rugby Aotearoa and make it a bit more permanent. So Mark Townsend, right at the start of the show, was saying, "Will you guys discuss the New Zealand decision regarding their league?" So here we are. It's going to be a shame in a way, but in another way, this has been coming because when Super Rugby made themselves too big, they overreached, diluted what the competition was. It's as if this has been on the cards in some way for a while, Paul.
Yeah, I think so. And I think they've done the right thing. The difficulty is with Super Rugby is that it doesn't really have the big TV audiences outside of South Africa. So it doesn't get the revenue. So therefore, it was always having to suck in other revenue streams and other smaller countries. So that therefore they had to try and bring in Argentina. Then it was the Japan experiment that didn't quite work out. But I think what they're doing now is logical and it's the right thing. So Australians and the Kiwis then get the Pacific Island nations involved. And that then you've got a very attractive rugby package. The difficulty is that they always rely on overseas audiences for that. So they're going to have a very sellable product to sell to like the UK and to South Africa and to Japan.
Well, and the US. So the New Zealand Herald are reporting that Pacifica-based team
is Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean, if that becomes the Hawaiian franchise that Rakakoko and Kaino and a couple of those guys are involved in, that opens up a US market as well because it does. But
with the best will in the world, that's like it's always a starting project in the US, isn't it? No matter what, it's always a small start, and it'll take another 100 years for rugby to take off there properly. And then I think that allows the South Africans then to join up with. It's all about lines of longitude, really, in terms of advertising. If you're playing rugby at the same time as the South Africans, it brings in all the big advertising brands. So the South Africans kick off the same time as us. Now, all of a sudden, you've got massive brands who want to get involved. It's difficult if you've got a New Zealand team and a South African team and it's kicking off at 3 a.m. Nobody wants to advertise in the morning. Whereas now you can get boys like, Hewlett Packard and Gillette and some of those big names who want to get involved in bringing the South Africans over to the Northern Hemisphere. And then the logic from there is the South Africans then join our Six Nations, which people will freak out about in the same way that when France joined and then when Italy joined. It's just another logical progression. And then if I had my way, I would allow an Argentinian team to join the Six Nations, but based in Spain. Because most of their players were playing in Europe anyway. And try and imagine if you could get Barcelona or Real Madrid or something like that to start a rugby franchise. They've got everything there already. They could just use 0.0000001 of their football budget, start up an amazing Argentinian team based in Madrid. Bingo, you're off and running. So that's my Paul Williams plan to radically alter the rugby world.
Yeah. Sorry for any. So this is now. I can see viewers going. Can we have ginger talk again, please? This is a little bit. What are your feelings on it, Sean? I mean, is this an inevitable thing? Like COVID is, I suppose, it's allowing people to contemplate things that we might not have done so quickly before.
It's definitely thinking around and how well the Aotearoa has gone, but you got to be careful what you wish for. I think it's gone so well and it's had a huge response around the world because there's nothing else to watch at the moment, by the way.
Yes.
When we get going here, as Williams continues to kill himself drinking pop in the morning, sorry.
Sugar-free. Sugar-free.
Oh, that's all right then. when we get going up here and our time, we get up in the morning to watch this because yes, it is great and we're very supportive of it and we love it. But our focus is just on this at the moment. When the Premiership comes back and the Guinness Pro 14 comes back, and all our players and our teams that we support, that's going to change.
Yeah.
And what Paul has mentioned is very, very good because a lot of us don't see the revenue streams other than the crowds and the TV deals, but there's a huge amount of sponsorship that goes in. Now, the current world champions of South Africa, they're on our timeline. We got the Lions going down to South Africa, right? We got South African teams in the Guinness Pro 14, by the way, along with 5 other nations. So, we're on a winner here. America is a new thing. It's a new toy. They can play with it, and goodness knows where that can go. And if you've got ex-All Blacks like John Afoa, Rococo, Kano getting involved in that, and there's places like Hawaii, Vegas, LA, it's going to kick off in some form. And do you know what? We're going to want a bit of that because that's sexy. All right, Australia are trying to pick themselves off the floor, and New Zealand need to be careful what they wish for. All right, because they need money down there. Now, you can't cut your nose off to spite your face. One thing Paul mentioned, I think, is absolutely imperative in World Rugby is the Pacific Island nations have to get a voice, have to get a place, have to get a competition. People have to go there on tour because we're seeing the benefits in New Zealand, Australian rugby of the island nations, how great athletes they are, brilliant rugby players. And I think it's imperative to get some sort of Super Rugby team or international team together. If it doesn't work, Tonga, Fiji, Samoa, let them play sevens like that and have a Pacific Island team.
So what I would say is that having a Super Rugby franchise, which can be that elite level club, way to earn money. Right, way to make a living, because this is the big problem. If you talk about incentives, what is your primary incentive in life? It's actually not to play sport; it's to take care of your family. Okay, and if you are an island player, the best way to take care of your family is to commit to another country or travel across the world.
Yeah,
that's it. There is no other game in town for that. It is very, very difficult to do anything beyond that. So having that franchise where the guys can still keep committed to their country of birth or their country of affiliation, it would be transformative.
Yes, it would, because that's the cruel bit, is that if you're an islander now, you can't play Super Rugby and play for your country. Because if you go to Super Rugby, you have to commit to New Zealand pretty much.
Yeah. Point in from Chiefs Girl, and I would tend to agree with this line of thinking. I think the Rugby Championship is safe. I think South Africa will keep in there. Argentina is another story. I think they'll try and make it work, but I think South Africa, that those 3 countries playing with each other, the old tri-nations, I think that's solid.
I think they'll want to come and join the Six Nations.
Do you?
If you put the money on the table, they'd come to
Argentina,
South Africa.
Wow. Well, yeah, they would, because it makes sense. It makes sense time zone wise, and now with the Guinness Pro 14,
and it's not that weird. It seems weird because it's never happened before.
It would be weird.
But people thought
anyone, but it would be weird.
But people thought France joining was weird.
Yeah, the cynic in me also. The cynic in me. I have no proof of this. The cynic in me thinks that the likes of Australia and New Zealand wouldn't want a Pacific Island team, would they?
No, they wouldn't. I wouldn't want one. If I was running Kiwi Rugby, I would not want the Super. I wouldn't want that.
Imagine you had a tri-nations, right? Australia, New Zealand, Pacific Islanders. Oh. All of a sudden, they've got a voice and a team. You know, they've no need to embark on a different nation. They can live in their home islands, home countries, with their families. Because Andy's absolutely right. You know, I had some Samoan heritage players under me in my time as a coach. They'd have to send the majority of their money back home to their family. So, you know, it was all about looking after the family back home, sending money back home, you know.
And it's so unfair, because if you think of the contribution the Pacific Island players make to the global rugby, there's not an elite first team, right, that doesn't rely on at least 2 Pacific Island players.
Yeah.
Right, they're in every single squad, particularly the those ones where there's relegation and you don't want players away playing test level rugby. In the top 14 in the English Premiership, they're probably a quarter of squads.
Yeah, and we know what happens in the top 14. There's a little word had said this isn't in the contract, folks, but
you won't be playing for your nation again.
Yeah, we expect your loyalty.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another 50,000 euros. You know what that is for.
Wow.
Exactly. Right.
Was that Kenner's that you flashed up there?
It was.
Yeah, Stephen joined a little late today, Sean. Get my miles in early with a little jolly down to Mumbles on the bike. That's not a little jolly, that's a fair old. No, so this is one of my Fit for 50 group. I'm 50 in November the 6th, and I've started a Fit for 50 campaign, a Facebook group. And it's just amazing. I've got like 350, 400 followers in the group now, and they all post their daily fitness and diet, and it's just amazing. It's so inspirational, Paul. You should come get in on it.
Do you know what I mean? I've joined the group.
Oh, brilliant! It's so motivational, right? The people on there, and it's inspiring people to just go out and do. I'm not saying you have to go in the gym and you have to do this, but even if you go on your walk or you're trying to improve a little bit or just to get a bit of mental health well-being, it's been a brilliant thing for me, and I'm keeping it going now, particularly to my 50th. Any of our listeners out there, just give it a nudge on Facebook, Fit for 50, and I'll let you in the group because it's fantastic. And all weekend now, people will post things like Stephen there. He's been for his ride this morning. He'll do a workout in his back garden now, probably, and it's and you'll be playing tennis today, Paul, I take it.
Yeah, I'll be playing now. 12 o'clock, getting thrashed by some 22-year-old.
Steady on, keep it clean.
Right, hang on, we're back in the game here.
I just came back in for that comment, and that was working.
See, and you're the most responsible then. So if you go, it's just me and him.
Tom Johnson makes a good point there, just to round off our halftime chat. Is you got to remember that most of the island players in New Zealand are New Zealanders.
Yeah, I know.
Of course, they know their ancestors have gone across, and they are now born in New Zealand. So they see themselves as it's a big one. But I go back talking to Philo Tiatia earlier this week. He sees himself as Samoan.
Yeah.
Yes, he's born, bred Wellington. He's a Wellingtonian. He sees that, but he speaks Samoan. He thinks he's Samoan. He's had all the tattoos, all of his legs. He's had his whole legs done in his whatever his heritage is in Samoa. So
there'd be a very strong empathy for that in Ireland. Because we had so much emigration over the years. Like if you think of the football teams that we had Jack Charlton's just sadly passed on. He was someone who went and looked for that cohort of people who were born in England or born in Scotland, but the house was an Irish house. They grew up wearing an Irish jersey. They thought of themselves as Irish. They you know what I mean? The parents considered themselves still Irish. The home was an Irish home. They just had to move the house because of work.
We did the same thing with Shane Howarth.
I'm glad you brought that up and not me.
He was living in a Welsh house.
Yeah.
In South Island, I think, somewhere.
Yeah. That was a good one, wasn't it?
Oh, the
I always wonder if there's people who, when you get a little reference like that and someone's watching this and are going, I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah, so Shane Howarth was a New Zealander, a really, really good New Zealand fullback who played for the Welsh team. I don't know how many occasions, but it wasn't one or two. It was a lot.
It was a while.
Long time. And it turns out he didn't have any Welsh relatives at all.
Oh, that was Brett Tinkerson, was it?
No, Howarth.
And Shane Howarth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm Brett. Yeah, I think
Shane Howarth. It was.
I think they had some Welsh cakes in the services on the M4 once. I think that's.
It's a Welsh cake, yeah, exactly.
That's a nasty one here
for a and that was it.
Could we see Bowden Barrett moved up to 10 here?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? Just move him up. I'm sick of seeing him playing full back now. Just get him up in the line.
Or not seeing him.
Or not
Or
seeing
not
him
seeing him
at
at all, yeah.
Like it is.
Right,
it's
who's got the best bench? Let's have a look. They're rolling through benches.
Yeah.
That's quite a lightweight bench, really, in terms of quality for the Blues.
Yeah, they are battered, aren't they? They've needed
there's a
to
lot
bring in.
quite a lot of third string there.
Oh,
There's
Fafita.
Amua, the human bomb. Fafita, good player, Proctor and Goosen. Amua last weekend for the Hurricanes. It was almost like comic book collisions. It was ridiculous. Some of the hits he put in, some of the oh, here he comes.
Do you know what?
There you go.
I'm getting one of those feelings, boys, that it's squeaky bum time already for the Canes. Yeah, they're favourites by a mile here. If Aotearoa Black here goes off, they've had to make changes. The big guns, some of them are not playing. What are we seeing here now?
We're seeing
Conrad, sneaky. I got to tell you a story about him now. I'll tell you a story about Conrad Smith.
Different class, wasn't he?
Sneaky. There's Joe.
Coco.
Look at this, 45-27.
This was the heyday of Super Rugby, I'd say, this period. That was when he was at his best. No Kiwis had really gone abroad.
25 years ago, Nonu and Conrad Smith. So Wales play the All Blacks quickly with this injury. Wales play the All Blacks on a Saturday. Jason Spice is in our squad at the Ospreys. He phones me and he says, mate, do you mind if Conrad Smith, he's staying with me if he comes on Monday to training and, just gets involved as a bit of a cool down, as a recovery? I said, yeah. I said, let's have a bit of fun with it. It's not tell Lynn Jones, right? So two things come out of this.
Sign Conrad Smith.
I said, what about kit? He said, yeah, some of my kit fits him. I'll give him some of my old training kit. Great, I said. So two stories come out of this now, right? Firstly, Andrew Millwood, who's now managing director of the Ospreys, was a big local prop, Andrew, right? And he wasn't the fittest.
No.
In fact, I remember Jim Neely saying in an Ospreys Ulster match, as Bully came off the bench, he runs on and Jim Neely goes in. Here comes Andrew Millwood, and my goodness, it looks like he's had a good Christmas.
He was at the last of the amateur props, wasn't he, Millwood?
So anyway, Bully's changing in the corner now, right? And he looked a little bit older than he was in his day. He's changing the corner. And Snaky, Conrad Smith, is next to Spice, and he turns to Spice and he goes, mate, what's the kit man doing getting changed for training? Right? So that's the first one. So then the second one, out he comes and warms up now. The boys are great. They haven't said anything. And we do these handling drills, this, that, and the other. And Lynn comes up to me after the warm-up of the handling drills, and he says, Sean, who's the academy kid you got in play there? He's pretty good, isn't he?
No way.
He said he looks good. Yeah. We'll keep an eye on him.
We're signing him.
I said, yeah, he's pretty good. He said play for the All Blacks against Wales last Saturday.
Who's that academy kid?
We're being fact-checked. That Super Rugby clip was not 25 years ago. It was 2009.
I was going to say,
celebrating 25 years.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
he's a man gets through.
He's a unit, isn't he?
Oh, he's a big boy,
isn't he?
They gotta score.
He's not exactly Sale centre pairing.
What's the move here now, Sean? Lamarpe on a short one. Oh, he was there.
Quick there. Nah, man, out the back probably to get wide. Here we go. I'm gonna go. It's a good tackle.
Yeah, that
was a very good tackle.
That's a Warburton tackle, that, isn't it?
Oh, there we go.
That's a great pass from Perinara, by the way. He's picked him out lovely there.
That was relentless from the Hurricanes.
Wasn't it? That's good phases, that, isn't it?
Oh.
Look at him. Do you see Papalili swear then at the back when Lamarpe went through?
These centres have played well, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have.
It's a lovely pass.
Is that something you've ever noticed? Would you say that Southern Hemisphere centres, as a rule, pass better than Northern Hemisphere centres, or is that too much of a generalisation?
I think that's a bit of a generalisation.
Too much.
When you look at Conrad Smith, he was a good nuts and bolts player, wasn't he? Did all the basics really well. Nonu developed his passing.
Yeah.
And his kicking.
Yeah.
Nonu became a very, very good distribution kicker as well at times.
He did. You wouldn't say that Sonny Bill, Ryan Crotty, Leonard Brock, you wouldn't say those are overly brilliant passers of the ball. Would you? Great offloaders, but
no, that's true.
You know, you look at some of the guys up north; they're pretty talented.
Yeah.
My was Aaron Major. I had a big soft spot for Aaron Major.
Quality.
Yeah.
Speaking of centres, Sale Sharks, very large midfield. for
Speaking of Highlanders,
Oh my God, Tuolangi and Van Rensburg. I mean, what's that? About 35, 36 stone between them?
I think it is. No, it was more. Yeah, somebody tweet. Yeah, I think it is 36 stone. They're both nearly 18. I think they're both like 17, 10. And
you
both
got to admire what Dimes has done there, haven't you? They've quietly gone about their work.
Yeah.
Made good signings. Difficult to beat at home. I looked at the league table, sort of halfway through the season before lockdown. All of a sudden, Sale up there in third or fourth. You think, my God, they're on their way back. Because when you think back to the Shabal era, Mark Cueto, that lot, where the title went inside.
Yeah,
they
could be coming back there. Saracens go in.
Oof. They've had a bit of cash.
Yeah,
it is very funny though at this stage when there's three certainties in life. There's death, taxes, and Sale definitely signing someone who Diamond says they're not talking to.
Oh, he is. Other than David Blaine, his sleight of hand is ridiculous. He's different level, that lad.
It was always going to be mine, wasn't it? It was who else would it have been? Saracens gone. Tuolagi's not a Rob Baxter sort of player. I wouldn't have thought. Northampton, he could have looked at Northampton and thought maybe, but.
Or France and Japan, but he looked like he wanted another World Cup, didn't he? Because he's had so many injuries.
He's never really had a big run with England that's culminated in anything really, as or what you thought it would be, and that will go with Lions as well.
Yes,
so you might be having a real crack at that one.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
What's the score? Someone's asking in the chat. It is 22-15 to the Canes. 47 minutes in.
More importantly, entered Holley time here, which we need to mark.
45-60. What did he score on that? What did he score within the try? Where's the try? 44 minutes.
Oh,
does that count in Holley time?
Here comes a motor.
Holley time's now 45-60.
Right, I know we were criticizing player cams earlier, possibly, but try and keep an eye on the Hurricanes hooker and Moore.
Okay, tell us all what we're going to see.
Just chaos. He's one of the most powerful carriers I've ever seen.
Steve Kennelly, guys, thoughts on Manu and Farrell voted best centres in the World 15 by the South Africans?
That's interesting.
Is that as a combination?
It looks like, doesn't it?
Must be.
Yeah, because as a combination, I have a lot of time for it.
Yeah, because otherwise they'd have Darland there and there somewhere, surely. So it must be a combo.
Yeah, I presume it was a combo. If not, then if it isn't a combo, we have to talk.
It's a potential Lions midfield.
Yeah.
Along with the other candidates.
The thing
you
is,
have to mention Jonathan Davis. Man of the series,
there aren't any other settled combos though in the centre really.
Well,
it's a good time for centre combos, isn't it?
Henshaw and Ringrose, will they step up to the plate this year? Bundyaki.
Yeah, Henshaw and you could see definitely. I would say two of those three Irish centres are on a plane, if not all three. There's definitely a place for them. Farrell's going to be on a plane anyway.
Jonathan Davis, if he's fit and playing well, will be on the plane.
I saw him again this week in Cardiff. The shape of that boy, he's in the shape of his life.
You've got some good Scottish centres now, right? Even Sam Johnson, Duncan Taylor is highly rated. He's had a lot of injuries. He's to come back to the fore. You know,
so but here's the question: if you're putting Farrell in your midfield, who are you sliding in at 10?
I'd play him at 10. See.
At the moment, the only guy competing with pedigree is Dan Biggar, I think.
Are we saying Sexton isn't making it because he'll be what? He'll be 30. He'll be turning 36 for that tour.
I think South Africa. It's down to Johnny, mate. What I've seen in Johnny let's say the last dozen games he's played, would you pick him in the Lions?
No.
Fair point. Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Absolutely not. They've almost Dan Biggar play the last 12 games. You think there's not many. Would you pick George Ford ahead of those two? No.
Dan Biggar, I think, is playing the best rugby of his career.
Yeah, he is.
At the moment. So he really is.
Finn Russell, well, the wheels have come off.
Yeah.
Not in his ability or form, but the wheels have come off with how all of that episode has been dealt with.
Yeah.
Who are you left with?
Yeah, no, that's a good point actually, because he may not even feature for Scotland particularly.
Gareth Anscombe is in out of the reckoning.
Yeah.
Anscombe, bless him, unfortunately, a bit of a setback with his knee.
The Ospreys brought in cover yesterday, didn't they?
Fair point here from James Reed. If you saw the pictures from the gym during lockdown, where Sexton somehow looked like
pre-hulk, not pre-bulk.
That was pre-bulk, to be fair.
So we're in Holley time, and this is what I mean. 5 minutes have drifted by with nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cagey.
It is cagey.
It is. It's that one score. I think it's about the Kane scoring next now, isn't it? Kane score any 3-5-7 next. It's done.
What are they? This has got to be Lamape, isn't it?
It's like he's on, I don't know, some super additive petrol tonight. He is.
It is. Yeah,
he's just looking electric tonight.
He's great, and I think it was last week was this first game, because the first couple of games he hasn't played that well. He dropped a few balls, and whereas the last weekend he really started firing.
Chiefs girl, I like Biggar and his little kicking jig. It's a hell of a jig.
Yeah, it's got better.
There's a lot going on.
It's not as complicated as it was a couple of seasons ago, love him.
No, he has got it under control.
I under control now is a very relative term.
Yeah.
Great shout here from the Turbo Warrior. Joey Carberry. Yeah. Joey Carberry would certainly be an option if not for injuries. Very frustrating. There's a guy definitely with the talent. Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's a wild card still for me.
Yeah. If he got a run, there's a man you could slide in at 2 positions in a touring squad and do things that other players find it very difficult to do.
100%. Good goal kicker as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And really, it's just so frustrating when you saw him get that run in Munster as a starting 10, something he never got at Leinster for whatever reason. Mostly that reason being Ross Byrne. It's really cruel.
What's great? Lamape playing like Super Mario and Star Power. He's a shadow.
That is a very, very good description.
That's exactly,
I like that a lot.
A similar build too.
You think of the guy that came off the bench in the Lions tour 2017, right? Look, the guy, a rabbit in the headlights. Yeah, no, we've got a guy who's hit the seam. He knows he's got confidence around him, and he's a different animal now. This is what the potential that they saw. But to go back to the Lions, isn't it great now that the dates haven't been changed? So it looks like at the moment the Lions is going ahead. We would be in a position at the moment where we would have had an end of season, we would have had favourites, we would have penciled in a 38. Let's have a look at how next season goes. Now, because of lockdown, it's all wiped the slate clean a little bit,
Yeah.
Because there was no end of Six Nations. We haven't been able to pick a Six Nations team of the year. We'll have a couple of games now, and then we're into a new season, and the slate is clean. Can you imagine? Yeah. It'd be like, all bets are off. Somebody's going to put their hand up. Well, a few guys are really going to put their hand up. Yeah. And can you imagine the Six Nations goes ahead and what that's going to bring? Oh, it'd be amazing.
one massive audition. I tell you a really underrated player in this Blues team is Talia, the wing. He doesn't make many mistakes, that boy, does he?
See, Holley time. Turn them, get it down there. They'll be happy with that, mate. They'll just
roll the clock.
Take it.
Turbo Warrior, can I get your perspective on the reports New Zealand have plans? You missed our halftime chat. I think we did some chatting about that. We didn't really talk about the specific, and because Adam's not here, we're going to. Can we, i.e. Pro 14, afford to take them? Right. So that would be, look, people have speculated about this since the very start, since before the Cheetahs and Kings came in and made it the Pro 14. Would we actually see the Super Rugby franchises move kind of en masse into this competition? I don't know. Anything like this is, again, we're in a time where it seems that everything is on the table. I mean, Paul, we've talked about it.
I don't know whether they will or not, but I think they should. And the money that would come in from a TV deal with with Super Sport in South Africa would be very beneficial.
Well, we've had the involvement of CVC, haven't we?
Yeah. So I think it's the right thing to do. I think they'll be very keen to do that.
And that's the key. So you've got these. It needs to work for now multiple stakeholders, including a private stakeholder. So there's a lot of moving parts here.
And the big benefit of it as well, which doesn't often get talked about, but if they inject a couple of more teams, they can actually drop the amount of times that they play each other. So it could free up the test windows. So one of the big criticisms of the Pro 14 and other leagues, of course, is that teams get diluted when the test players leave. So the more you can reduce that, the better. So the benefits of South African teams joining are massive.
It is one thing which I have to be very honest here and say that I've watched more Super Rugby this season. It's in sort of week to week than I ever have before. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I have noticed and very much enjoyed is seeing the same teams every week, that they're not getting rotated. And we are used to both in the Pro 14, and you see it happen in the Premiership as well, and in Top 14, you see the rotation happen as a matter of course. That's fascinating to me. It's I know it should be normal, but it shows how we get used to another way of picking teams and squads.
That's right, yeah. And you wait until the Premiership starts in England. They've got to play about 300 games in 5 hours.
I'm not on board with that at all. Like, talking about protecting the integrity of the competition, lads. We're in COVID time. We don't have to protect anything. If you want to say you want the cash in, that's fine, right?
But I think they should have just been really obvious and just tell the truth with all. Just say, look, we need the money. Otherwise, 100%. A few of us could fold.
Everyone would understand that. Everyone would understand. Said, lads, this is the driving force. Yeah, totally. Because now you're opening it up to lads. Sorry, integrity competition. Well, how about the integrity of your players' bodies? They're going to be slaughtered.
And I think then if you had supporters, they would then, when you're saying it's integrity of the competition, that doesn't offset player safety. If you say clubs may not exist, then some people might be a bit, okay, fair enough. I can see why you're doing it.
We need to pause.
Boys, we got game on,
We do, yeah.
Well, you two were dribbling on there. I was watching the Ione try.
Turn his mic down, Andy.
They're not. They're not the Blues of old. We've got a lot of changes. A battle hardened, probably a bit deflated after losing to the Crusaders. So Tutu's not playing. Clark's not playing. They got a few injuries, and they've bounced back here against a Kane side that looked to be rampant. And all of a sudden, it's 22-19.
Yeah.
Conversion to come.
Is it 22-20?
22-20, conversion
22-20, 2 to come.
Yeah. Here we go, Bowden.
Well, we say 2 to come. It's Bodie, and he's on the angle.
It's interesting. There was penalty advantage, and Bodie stepped in at 10 here, and he put a crossfield bomb across to his brother, and two Blues players went for it, but he took it superbly and snuffed it out. But, this...
And there's the booing again, lads. I can hear it.
Yeah.
And his teeth
Okay,
falling.
I'm going to do boo report here, right?
That's not friendly booing.
I'm going to tell
No,
you
that didn't seem friendly.
Yeah, there's a lot of booze going in there. And
Bit of
Geordie's
booze.
got a right
Geordie's
smile.
smiling.
TJ's trying to wind him up. Yeah,
That is what he's doing, isn't he? He is talking to him, DJ Perinara.
He's going to get this, boys. I haven't seen any.
He's got it.
Oh, there we go.
No fade. It's over.
22 all. This is great. And there's a comment here from Dime Till Death. We have had a lot of games going down to squeaky time that have been good and close. That is absolutely correct. It's great.
And do you know what? Hence the introduction of the drop goal, which didn't used to be a part of Kiwi Super Rugby. But I've seen more in this the first 6 weeks of this than in 10 years of watching the whole league.
We haven't seen Rico at all, have we, in this game?
No.
It's been Lamape and Umanga, Kelsey.
But you know what? That's what's good about the Blues, though, Sean, is that they're able to use their pack now. So in the past, if you didn't hear about Rico Ioane or at one of their flashy backs, they'd disappear.
You didn't hear about the Blues.
I'd never heard about the Blues then. Yeah,
exactly.
But now, look at that try, bit of pick and go. You've got Akira Ioane now. Like
I think it's more a lot of it today, though, mate, is to do with the Canes' possession, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. True enough.
What's the Paul? Can you go off and
yeah, I've got
stats?
It here.
Yeah.
Do you know the interesting stat? Oh, hang on, these stats have gone a bit weird. Wait 1 second. Every now and again, ESPN stats meltdown.
Yeah, don't get me started. Turbo Warrior, thank you very much, guys, for your feedback. As a Munster man, I really want the Welsh regions to come back and form. Munster Ospreys were closely fought games I enjoyed. Here.
Yeah, they were great games.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. Stats, and they are as frightening as we thought they'd be. So it's Canes 65% of possession and 72% of the territory.
Yeah, that feels right.
And then listen to this. So the Canes clean breaks 10, Blues 1.
Yeah.
That also feels absolutely right.
And then listen to this. Canes defenders beaten 25, right? Which is in 60 minutes, which is a lot even for them. And then the defenders beaten by the Blues is 7. So it's and then the stat that I always think gives you a reasonable indication is meters run. So Canes are up at 406, and then the Blues are at 132. So to be drawing with those numbers tells you everything you need to know, really, that they really have gutsed it out.
I'll see what Tana's going to say. T,
yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about bringing a bit more energy, hold on to the ball, build some phases. Ball, they do need to hang on to the ball.
Well, there was that. Did you see that then? Time in the opposition. I think that was 22. 5 minutes for the Canes. 1.5 minutes roughly for the Blues.
It's like I said,
that's a massive difference.
It's like I said. Sometimes you're better off without the ball. They've had a week of recovery and healing wounds. He said they're making errors and with the ball. Well, don't have the ball. Here we go.
Yeah, just tackle.
Here we go. And I said about squeaky bum time. That's a needless penalty for Perinara to give away in that area, isn't it? They're feeling the heat now. The whole shift of psychological pressure has shifted you onto the Hurricanes. Look at their body language now. All of a sudden, Barrett's up at 10. He's had a lovely try. They back on terms. He's at the cake tin. They're all booing him. He's stepping up to the plate. I can see this going.
And more importantly, he's got the headband on. Once you get a bit of that,
makes a massive difference.
Once you've got that wrapped round, you've got to perform.
Listen, as someone who is a founder member of the Fergus McFadden Headband Appreciation Club,
there we go.
It can have magical powers.
It does, because you have to play like JPR Williams. Once you've got that on.
There's a guy with a San Francisco Giants cap on in the background. They're not. Someone will have a word and say, we need to sponsor that properly if it's on camera.
Nice, simple line out.
Oh, I love a little simple mid-ball.
Oh, here we go.
Around the back.
This is your new Blues team where they can rumble.
There it is.
What?
Straight
They're
through.
Over.
That's beautiful. More.
I quite like
more.
this. See, I like this. I'm impartial because I have no leaning. I'm not leaning either way. I just like the way. I love the dynamics and the body language and the behavior of players. Think back to that first half where the Canes were battering their line and they were holding out, winning halftime level. All of a sudden the worms turned, isn't it? It's brilliant.
So, Sean, in that Maul situation there now, when you get when it's taken and then dropped down, is there do they decide which way they'd roll pre-engagement, or do you wait for the soft side?
Yeah, they want to try and go a certain way,
before you drop, right? Yeah.
And it'll be depending on what the opposition, where they've mirrored, had they gone up and challenged. So if they do challenge, they're weak at that area, if you win the ball, because they're in the air.
Yeah, I got you.
But I think they were down set there, and so they will look to be stronger, like a scrum in one side than the other.
And will it be one player's role to make a call? You'll just all decide we're going bang.
Well, there'll be a call, and they'll all have set roles for that call.
Right. Got you.
So you have to know your role. That's that term, know your role. Because if one player doesn't know his role, even off the bench, and messes that up, it can affect scoring or not.
Especially if a back comes in and gets involved. That is generally a bad sign.
The leg power that the back.
Sean was on about that last weekend. The leg drive.
Sean, if they show a replay of that again, will you just have a look at the defensive side of that?
Oh, look at the state on that.
They didn't really challenge, but they also didn't.
No,
it was just a mess.
I think there's too many people trying to fight for the ball at the front. I'll have to have a look at it again, but
yeah. It seemed really weird on the replay that you didn't really see a proper organised defence there. The Blues looked as if they were rumbling well, but on second look, I was going, there wasn't much they were rumbling against.
No. Well, there's a tendency now, they don't compete in that area. I would have liked to see them compete in that, put some pressure on.
Yeah.
But then that leaves you susceptible on the floor. I understand that. So if you're going to stay down, you've got to try and wreck it or sack it. You don't see them sacking it a lot anymore because they're worried about the next penalty and then the yellow card. But you can do it. You can do a one-man sack. Let's watch the Blues here now. It doesn't look like it might look like they go in up in the back, but no, they got big heavies at the back. So,
he's done well there, Lamarpe.
So there was a try right on the edge of Holley time.
Yeah.
There was one on 44 and one on 60. So we call it a draw this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Geordie stepped up now.
It's it's nice that Bowden went back to Bowden and missed the kick.
It was a dreadful kick as well.
It was. That's what I was about to say. It wasn't that he missed it. It's that it just looked crap.
And
it's a bit like Sexton. When Sexton misses, he misses by a mile.
It's bad, yeah. And I don't like being critical of rugby players, and I try not to be. But if you're an international goal kicker, I don't think you can be missing the post by 15 feet.
That's it.
That's a lot.
It's such a big miss.
Seriously, I don't think I'd miss the post that regularly.
Name drop coming up. Name drop.
Okay. Go on.
It brought something in my mind. It's like you don't see Stephen Hendry missing a pot by 5 feet.
Halfway up the cushion.
Yeah,
exactly.
So anyway, I played golf with Stephen Hendry last Monday.
Did you really?
That's where this was
Mark
going.
Williams.
I saw you. Yeah. What were they like? I bet Hendry's
What
good.
a brilliant pair of guys. They're big mates. Stephen Hendry, 7-time world champion, £10 million prize money in a career. Mark Williams, 3 times world champion. Goodness knows how much earning careers. I lost and had to give them a tenner, and they took it off me.
Gutted. That's half of your money from this pod.
That's like my pocket money for my parents because I haven't worked during the whole of lockdown.
I bet their putting was good, was it?
Yeah, you'd imagine lining up the putt would be.
Yeah, I can imagine the appreciation of the roll.
It was a bit much when they were putting chalk on their putt them, mate.
That's all right. Oh no, it's not.
Oh, why is big penalty?
He had his hands on the ball, didn't he?
We missed that. Turbo Warrior says, I don't know if you saw it, but in the Keynes v Crusaders, Lamape was tackled after knocking on, took exception and threw the ball in the tackler's face. Should have seen yellow. Yeah, I remember that.
Last week. Yeah.
Can be riled up easy. Well, he's on fire at the moment, so he's in a good place.
He's in a very good place. If you're a Hurricanes fan, he's in a very good place.
A couple of our Southern Hemisphere viewers and have asked about who to keep an eye out for up in the north, young players. Well, we've got quite a few, haven't we? We've got a lot of young guys coming through. There's a boy in Scotland, the boy Richie, the flanker.
He's good.
Highly rated. One to watch out for, and Matt Ferguson up in Scotland. And a young number 8 who's got a brother Xander.
Reece Carey up the Blues.
Reece Carey, young loose head prop who's gone back from Saracens to the Blues. There's another one. In England, you've got the young boy Tom Curry and Lewis Ludlam, 2 flankers who Curry in particular, brilliant in the early part of the Six Nations. A Sale player, and has got a brother as well. Who else we got in Ireland? Well, there's a plethora of young talent. Keelan Doris, Max Deegan, back rowers from Leinster and breaking into the Ireland squad. Jordan Lama, who hit the scene a couple of years ago. He's one that's coming through at full-back wing.
If you want to go in Leinster, there's a little further down the pecking order, Ryan Bard. He's he is such a talented fella to be a lock. He's scary fast.
Time till death. The stocks in Leinster. Ronan Kelleher, another one.
He's a really good player.
The stocks in Leinster and Ireland in particular are really high. We've got a good conveyor belt in Wales. We just need some teams functioning to springboard them. Scotland looking pretty good. And England,
and in France, you got to look ahead. Like that French outfit in the World Cup, like they've got more there. They've got just some stunning backs.
Well, there's one to come, right? There's I've commentated on the last 2 under-20s World Championships. France have won both those. A lot of those are broken through now. Don't forget, Ntamak and Dupont are young halfbacks anyway. Yeah. We're starting to see some of those 20s come through, but there's a boy called Joseph, right? I think it might be. I forget a second. I'll find out. He's a big number 8. He was only 17 2 years ago playing in the 20s, right? He's the biggest thing you've ever seen, number 8, right?
Really?
He's part of the Marcoussis Academy, but I think it's Racing that have got him. He's massive. Watch out for him next year or the year after. It's going to be like when Bastereau hit the scene.
Yeah,
it'd be like him.
Right,
massive
chaos. And one last one I've got. It was a little bit far out probably, but is a player at the Scarlets called Carwyn Trupaloto.
Yeah,
and I think he's only 17 now, so he may not come through properly this season. But next season, he's related to the Falatows.
I was going to say it's a traditional Welsh surname that Tupalotu.
Well, we had a big sort of immigration of Pacific Island players in the 90s, didn't we? A lot of their dads came over to play in Wales.
Yeah,
some of this offloading
then set down roots. Who was that then, Sean? Sorry,
it's just a replacement prop and hooker. This is brilliant offloading, soft hand.
Was that a Moore? Yeah.
No, I think it's the big guy with the socks don't get in the way now.
Oh, right, yeah.
18.
18, yeah. Different level, aren't they?
He's knackered now.
He's having a breather.
How good is this, boys?
It's all Blues now, isn't it?
Oh, Rico, hang on to it.
Good.
They score, boys, a 3-pointer, a Bodie drop goal.
See, this is it.
No turnover.
He's done well there.
Great game.
It's a great game.
Are they going to break Blues' hearts? They are.
Look at Lamape.
He's going to get away in the last minute or something, or last 5 minutes.
He's getting to that stage now where you have to double tackle him, isn't he?
I mean, look at these Blues front five replacements. Look at the shape on them, right? They look overweight and tired to me already, you know, and they're not going to be able to cope with his phase play to finish, I don't think. Look at the size of him.
Yeah, some big lumps on there.
You know, you have to make your tackles, get the slogan into position. Canes have to do this, surely.
5 points, 7 minutes, 8 minutes.
Yeah, they'll score in this passage, I think. Looking at,
like you say, there's some big units on that. Is that something, you know, when you tend to see front row players who are more out?
Oh, here we go.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to see that tackle again.
Yeah, it was a slide tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah, that looked weird.
Oh no, he knocked it on.
Dropped the ball.
Have a look at the Blues players. Look at them.
Yeah,
they're bushed.
That's what I was going to ask you. You know, when you see front row forwards, like we were chatting a little bit earlier about Millwood, is that a sign that they've come up from a lower level? Because when you're at elite, you tend to be in better condition.
Well, yeah, you know, they're playing Super Rugby. They should be in better condition than that, shouldn't they?
Than that, yeah. Yeah. Just wondering if it's a sign, you know, looking at their bench when you can see they've dragged boys up who may not necessarily be there.
Yeah, it could well be. They could be like Mike the Cup type players, whatever. But they, you know, if you come off the bench, you shouldn't be hands on knees, hands on hips. You know, 16, 18, 17, 19. They're knackered and they haven't been on 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We're just looking at that Duffy. I think it looks worse than it is, because I think that he's going down for the tackle, and then at the last second, Laumape is coming off his right foot and comes and cuts in. So it looked worse than it was, I think.
Yeah. You know, talking of front row forwards, Taniela Tupou yesterday for the Queensland Reds. I think he's going to be the best tight end in the world.
Really?
Oh my God.
Big statement.
He was amazing.
Well, let's bring that up when Adam Jones comes on.
I think he'll love him.
Yeah.
He'll love him. He was amazing yesterday. And the thing is, he's playing 80 minutes every game now, Taniela Tupou, at tight end.
Is he? He's playing full 80.
He played 8. He's played 80 minutes the last 2 weeks. And
that is extraordinary.
And playing the same quality.
Here's a question.
Unbelievable.
Matsi, what happened to the Jaguares? Are they done?
Well, I wouldn't say done, but they're not started up yet.
No, and their future is, you know, Super Rugby's all up in the air. That's why I mentioned earlier about them moving into Europe. I think that's so they do it in the NFL, don't they? They move franchises around all the time.
So if we go back to that conversation earlier, I think we're more likely to see an Argentinian franchise, right? Like, and let's say it's the Jaguares. They've moved. Let's say they're now gone from us, whatever the new Super Rugby will look like.
Yeah,
that's where you get a franchise that is set up, maybe attached to one of the big existing sports clubs in Spain, and they're playing in the Pro 14 or they're playing in the top 14, something like that. And that's where they center their players. That's what I would see as a more likely thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, hang on. Chiefs girls just tapped Tupou is crap against Kiwi teams. It's only because he's playing against the Australians and he looks so good.
I like Chiefs girls.
Wow.
I like Chiefs girls, but that is harsh.
That's putting it up to them.
Going back to the game,
fair point.
They just had a great scrum, right? The Blues. Remember that knock on? They had a scrum. Yeah. And the replacement scrum half had an opportunity to kick it off the field around about halfway, and he kept it in field. Right. And now they're back to this, what we're seeing here now, and they're going to score on his penalty advantage. It drives me.
Laumape is standing all on his own. Yeah,
it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. That replacement scrum half should be shot. Just kick it off the field. It's 74 on the flaming clock, man. You know,
Sean said he might be grumpy. That's the first time. Get it off.
Oh, that really annoys me. That does. You know, he's wearing some sort of bandana around his head and this, and come on, you make a difference off the bench, not a hindrance.
Yeah,
bloody annoys me.
Don't make things worse.
If I was a forward, then I wouldn't speak to him after. Look where they are.
That is your role as a bench player, isn't it? Don't make things worse.
Yes.
Kick it off the field. We just defended for 10 minutes. We're lucky to get a knock on. We've pushed like hell in the scrum, and we're all knackered.
And you should be looking at all the players around you.
Yeah,
pushed.
we're like this.
Yeah. Nearly spewing.
Get it off the field, donut.
He's had a good game with Margaret Jensen.
Yeah, he has.
Jensen.
I'm afraid this is it.
Yeah.
This could be the game.
Do they go simple or tricksy? Let's hope it's middle, safe, and set.
Oh,
It is.
I wouldn't have said that was safe.
No,
that
not
was
safe,
a very
but
good bit of work
It'll
to
do.
reach for that ball.
I think that was Blackwell again.
Yeah.
Oh, here's advantage.
They're looking a bit cardy as well. The Blues are giving away quite a few.
There's a card coming.
Have they poured over? No, he can't see that, can he?
That's great. The Hurricanes players are just reefing Blues lads out of the way to try and get the referee to see the ball.
Pulling them out.
And Blues are doing the opposite, piling on.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you don't want to be picking Papa Lee up off the floor.
You know, what
No.
has he asked? What's the question he's asked?
On-field decision try. Here's TJ having a word.
On the field try. So that's from the linesman.
He said he's seen the ball on the line.
Bloody hell.
That he hasn't seen that. He would have given it if he saw it.
Where's that? Who's seen the what there?
Yeah.
Who's the ref? The referee said it.
This is a tactical communication, right? I've seen it. It's right. In other words, he's saying, "Tell me if it's not a try."
Yeah.
Right.
That's basically what he's saying, right? If you've seen it on the line, give it then.
I didn't hear the follow-up bit. So there was crowd noise, and I didn't hear the follow-up bit of the question because sometimes they'll say on-field decision is try, but can you check X specifically? I didn't hear it. Here we go.
Good Lord.
So I couldn't hear any TMO chat, as in chat from the James Reed says talk of checking for knock-ons, etc. Yeah.
I tell you what, Leon McDonald won't be happy about that.
I go back, right?
Here's Geordie again. Look where Geordie's kicking from.
Yeah, he's got this one. He's had a few practices. He's got this. But it goes back
on the halfway.
I've seen so much rugby, right? That scrum half not kicking that ball off the field has cost them the game.
Yeah.
I said it at the time.
Yeah.
It's cost them the game, and I'm so cross.
I can see it in you.
I think you're going to need a nap before golf, Sean.
I've got time on at 11 today. I'm defending my trophy, the Mike Davey Travel Cup. I'm the reigning champion.
Nice.
I wanted to
Look how far back he is.
He's
5 meters away from the 40-meter line.
He's got this. This is Geordie's time.
Geordie angle.
This is the one he wanted, isn't it, to win the game.
Oh, and he's got such a boot. Like here we go.
It's easy.
Yeah, written. It was written.
Oh, it's a beautiful.
Nice strike, isn't it?
Strike.
Yeah.
I would not want to be that rugby ball.
Little fade.
Drop goal to win the game.
Oh.
James Reed said they were checking for knock-ons. Thank you, James.
Right, okay. I still don't know how we saw the ball on the line.
Well, I'm referees can get the best angle the angle that no television camera can get.
Lamarpe just ran that up like a rugby league restart then.
Now then, what has the ref got the onions to give a penalty for off the feet or double movement?
Yeah, that's it exactly. This is part of the new.
You've got to use it.
The new focus on the breakdown that I really like, because it should make it much harder to go phase after phase, because there's so many more ways to make a mistake.
That's right.
What does Geordie Barrett do? What does Geordie Barrett do? Kick it off the field. TikTok. Thank you very much, Geordie.
Yeah.
You're in the All Black squad now. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And it's nearly 50 meters, isn't it? That's quite a long way away.
You got 2 minutes Bowden to orchestrate your team down 40 metres and get a drop goal or a penalty.
Do you know the other good thing as well is that with Bodie Barrett, if you're outside 40 metres, the chances of him putting it over are pretty slim.
Maybe you go inside 40 metres, the chances of him putting it over are pretty slim.
But do you know, one of my classic is coaching questions. Now, would that be something they're aware of now? Outside 40, he's going to
kick it off.
struggle.
Absolutely. Right. Kick it off because look, we've got the ball back now from that. Blues is a shot. They're giving it a hell of a go. Fair play to them.
Yeah. Bang.
He's gone long.
Look at that.
Hello.
Now, here we go.
No chance.
That's a long way from there, isn't it?
It's a long. If it was the other way around, we'd be saying the Canes can do this.
Yes.
Because they've made the line breaks. They've shown they can go round them and through them in the game. The Blues have not shown us that.
But also, Geordie could kick a pen from there, couldn't he?
Oh, my word.
Oh, my God. That's ridiculous offload.
Oh. Sorry, what was I just saying? My God.
Tic-tac offload. Oh, my God. Lost 10 yards of that pass. Good carry.
He's had a decent game, hasn't he? With little ball.
He's played
that
well,
should be a penalty. Touchy didn't see that. There was he had him around the neck.
Oh no, that replacement scrum half. I don't like it.
Sean's missed.
They need the ref won't give a penalty now. It's in the last minute.
It's gone.
Knock on.
Forward. That's that.
That's game.
Great tackle on Barrett. They were right off the line.
Unless there's a dodgy scrum penalty.
No, that's it.
That was a very enjoyable game of rugby. We're assuming that the scrum is going to take place.
They have to have the scrum. You never know. It could be some weird little free kick.
A well-known Irish betting company had this game Blues 2 points head start.
Really?
Yeah, on the nose.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is unbelievable. They got all these algorithms and things,
but even
still, how to work it out.
Still, I'm always amazed by those market makers.
And Cool Coyote gets the final say. Barrett had a better game, but he should be playing 10, and everyone knows this. So there.
Do you know what? I have to agree now. I think you've got to move him into 10.
There's a column there for you. There's a column in one topic.
It's one thing if you've got it's one thing if you've got another All Blacks level, fly.
That's the thing.
This is not that. Aotearoa Black is playing well, but he's not.
It's almost as if in their heads they think Moanga is playing 10 for the Blues.
That's what it seems like.
And he isn't. They're
no.
doing it for the All.
So, Chiefs girl, I'd say Geordie outplayed Bodie today. I think that is absolutely fair.
Yeah, well done, Chiefs. Thanks for your contribution.
I think Geordie Barrett
class try. We have to don't forget Bodie scored a class try.
Would he be man of the match? I think he'd be man of the match. I think he'd be my man of the match, Geordie Barrett. Actually,
can you imagine they give a penalty away?
I can't see it going beyond someone like Laumape.
Come on, ref. That's a penalty against the Canes tight there. He's come over this side. He's having a chat with him, right? Has he got the onions?
Scrums, they're so fragile, aren't they?
I really, really, really want a penalty call here.
I'm a Bowden Barrett to take it from 40
or even
meters.
A free kick will do.
Oh, I like that better, actually. Yeah, give us a free kick. Yeah, I like that better.
Free kick.
Yeah.
And then you've got to run and do something. Yeah, you're right. Laumape would be man of the match. You're totally right.
Here we go. Here we go, boys. Here we go. Referee.
I tell you what.
That's
not far off.
If that's the 5th minute, what's the ref giving?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Now he just wants the ball off.
He does.
Off. Paranara's not messing around there.
He's not. Well done, Canes. Good game of rugby.
Well played, Kane.
Yeah. That was great. Thank you everybody for your comments today. Some good chat, lots of good randomness. We didn't fill out our Ginger 15 in the end, but there are weeks that we can do that. We might come back to it. We'll check with their we'll check if we're really offending anyone, and if we are, we apologize. It's a bit of crack, but you know what? If you're getting slagged all the time, that's no fun either. So let us know quietly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what's your plans? Sean, you're playing golf. Paul, what are you up to? You're playing tennis?
Bit of tennis now, midday. Deliver some rackets up the clubs, freshly strung rackets.
Excellent.
What are you up to, Andy?
I was back playing tag rugby during the week. Do you know what? It was great being around real humans with a ball.
No, I can imagine.
I'll give a shout out to one of the lads in another game. He's in hospital still. He had a freak injury. Good luck, Flipper. There's a lot of people thinking about you at the moment.
Oh,
right?
I love him.
So, I think we'll probably wind this up, folks. Thank you everybody for joining us. We will be back next week with our police officer in chief back in the hot seat, Mr. Redmond. I have been trying to produce this week as well, so anything that went wrong this week is all on me. All on me. Okay. So we'll let it go, I think. Thanks, folks. Have a good week. That was the Under the Stick Super Rugby Aotearoa Watch Along, brought to you by Big Red Cloud. This was Sean Holley, Paul Williams, and me, Andy McGeady. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Ta-ra, guys. Thanks for listening.